Hey YouTube! So I'm here to record the video review for If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 3, Episode 8, titled Keeping Watch. Okay, so there were a few people in this episode that people were supposed to be keeping watch over, but of course, the drama continues in Tyler Perry world. Okay, so it starts off with Pete. Now, we all know from last episode, Pete was paranoid and he didn't want to go to sleep. And the next thing you know, Eddie comes into the room and Pete thought, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Maybe I'm delusional right now. I am seeing things. But no, no, no. Unfortunately, that was not a dream. That was a real living nightmare. Eddie was in the room. And Eddie, I guess his mission was to find out what is going on with this whole videotape, because he knows that Pete got the videotape from the convenience store. He also wants to know if Pete remembers anything and basically threaten him to the point where he doesn't say anything, or ultimately he'll just kill him. Then he won't have to worry about it. So, even though Pete, he's not my favorite character, he's a young kid and he's just optimistic. So you don't want him to die. Okay, so whatever the case, we all know that Pete's falling asleep because he got the medication from the nurse. So Eddie is like hitting him in the face and everything, and he's saying, "No, you need to wake up because I need your full attention. I need you to tell me what you know." Eddie is like, Pete is like, "I don't know anything." Eddie is like, you don't know nothing. Wake up. I need your full attention." Okay, so the next thing you know, um, what is his name? Pete finally musters up the courage to say, "Look, you need to leave." Okay, and he's looking like, where is the FBI? And he even says the FBI is out there. So then Eddie was like, FBI had to go to the bathroom at some point. And I'm thinking, no, like if the FBI knew how important this was, first of all, you should have had somebody on standby to stand there if you had to go to the bathroom, okay? Or you just need to have a steel bladder and hold it, because Eddie should not have gotten into that room, because at this point he is like torturing Pete, and Pete keeps saying, "I don't know anything, I don't remember." So Eddie was like, "Do you not remember, or do you not know?" Because those are two totally different things. Because if you don't remember, you could remember later, and then all of this mess comes out. Then he says, "I know you made a copy of the tape. I know you did. So who did you give that copy to? Did you give a copy to the captain?" And I'm thinking, maybe he already knows. Like, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember if he already knows that the captain has a copy of it and the captain is just on his side. But whatever the case, Pete is like, I don't know. You need to leave, whatever. So then next thing you know, he's like messing with him, like, "No, I need to see, what's going on with you. What do you know?" He keeps like touching his head, and like any like touch he makes on his body, Pete is like shook, because in his mind at any moment you could just like choke me to death and I'm gone. And where's the freaking FBI? Okay, so next thing you know, he decides, you know what? Let me apply a little bit of pressure to your chest, perhaps where you got shot. Then we'll see if you can remember or not. You better stick to your story of not remembering. Okay, so then he starts applying pressure, and I'm thinking, isn't there a nurse like monitoring his vitals? Should she not see her machine going crazy? He at least has to have like a rapid increase, like heartbeat. And if she gave him the sleeping medication, well, then his heart shouldn't be beating that fast. He could be having a heart attack for all you know. Where is the freaking nurse? So no nurse is coming inside. He just has blood seeping out of his chest, but he is just holding it together. He's like, yeah, I feel it, but he's not screaming. So we know that the medication he has is still working, but he seems to be losing a lot of blood at the same time. Next thing you know, Eddie pulls out some type of like injection and shoots it into Pete's IV. And then he walks out the room. And of course, when he walks out, we see Ben sitting outside of the room, like taking watch, making sure that Eddie doesn't get caught. Like, he's such a punk. Okay, so what's his face? Pete is smart enough to pull the IV out of his arm, because he knows that whatever Eddie put in there, it wasn't to put him to sleep. It was to put him to sleep forever. Okay, so we're past that, and I'm thinking nobody has still checked on Pete. Please don't die. Okay, whatever the case. So next thing you know, we have Andrew. Okay, so Andrew calls Lushion because Andrew is out at the crash scene, the car crash scene where Alex had crashed into the truck. Now they see that she's not there, so they're thinking, okay, she must have ventured off into the woods. This doesn't look like funny business. It really does look like a car crash, but they're looking for her as well, along with her baby and Randall. So the captain or the lead chief of police, whatever, he tells Andrew, hey, you need to go and you need to go look for her. I know this area is outside of your jurisdiction, so you need to be careful. So he's thinking, oh man, they're going to send me on another like suicide mission like they did Pete. I'm nervous. I'm scared. So then he decides to call Lucian. Lucian is kind of ticking me off only because don't like I understand it's a hard situation to be in because he's having like a major tragedy that is occurring in his family right now. He needs to be there for Natalie. At the same time, I believe as FBI, his job is 24/7. However, his job should never come before his family. At the same time, you are like a secret agent and you told all these people, hey, you can call me, you can trust me. If something goes wrong, let me be your first call. That's what they're doing. They need your help. You know, it's nothing but shady people in that police station. So for the few that actually like believe in you, like be there for them. Like that is crazy. So the next thing you know, he's like, no, I can't help you. I have a lot going on. And Andrew is like, look, you told me to call you. Like, I don't feel comfortable about this. He's like, well, if you don't feel comfortable, then just don't do it. He's like, you know what? Forget it. I'll just do it. He's like, look, I'm sorry. My son got shot. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I completely understand. Okay, well, don't worry about it. I'm going to just watch my back. He's like, are you sure? Don't be asking him if he's sure because, Lucian, you're not going to do anything to help him. Okay, so next thing you know, then Lucian calls Esperanza and he calls her because he wants to know what is going on down at the police station. Why is Andrew out in the woods, like outside of his jurisdiction? Like, I really need you to keep me posted. And she's like, well, okay, we have right now, what is it? Ben is at the hospital watching over Miss Louise, and it's because of the whole kidnapping situation and Alex is missing, Randall is missing, the baby is missing. It's just so much going on. It is just hectic. So and Eddie is down there right now, and he's like, what? Eddie is down here. And she said, yes. Oh my gosh, you need to go make sure Miss Louise is okay. Could you please watch over her or try? I know you have a lot going on, but please. And I just feel so sorry for that lady, and like they're not going to deserve whatever Eddie is coming up there to do because if Eddie is up there, he is up there for bad business. So just watch your back. And so then it goes to a scene with Ben. So Ben is supposed to be watching outside of Miss Louise's door. Of course, we all know that Ben is really like a drug addict. Yeah, I just fell. That's okay, whatever. So we all know that Ben is really like a drug addict and he is probably like fiending for it at this moment and he's in a hospital full of drugs. So he's supposed to be waiting outside of the room. Instead, we see him sitting on the edge of Miss Louise's bed. And initially I'm thinking, is this dude really falling asleep when he's supposed to be helping? And why is he sitting on her bed? Next thing you know, Eddie walks in slowly. And as soon as Eddie walks in, then Ben starts like moving stuff out of his arm, but he's not even doing it fast enough because at this point he's freaking high. And he was really jacking Miss Louise, is probably in all this pain, jacking her for her morphine, and he was injected into his arm. And he was in straight denial. No, I wasn't doing that. And Eddie is like, bro, like I don't even have to take you out because you're gonna end up taking yourself out. You have a serious problem. You need to get it together. And then he's like, well, I wouldn't have had to do this if you didn't shoot my hand off. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, no, you already had problems beforehand. Like, you need to chill out. Like, you're supposed to be watching this lady and you're jipping her for her morphine. And then so he's like, well, why are you here? He said, well, I'm here because I need to find out answers because apparently this is the old wicked witch that said that Brad did it and I'm getting sick of her and I need to know what she knows. And he starts slapping her around. Now, she appears to be unconscious. All along, I thought to myself, Randall's mother is pretty smart. She's probably just pretending to be unconscious, but she's really not. Okay, so next thing you know, so they're talking in front of this lady, and he's saying, like, revealing way too much information that she can throw him under the bus for. Okay, so then he finally decides, you know what? I slapped her around a few times. She didn't wake up. When she wakes up, let me be your first call. And stop jacking her for her morphine. Get out here. Okay, so he's leaving. And then we see what is his name? Ben is leaving and Marcy is coming into the room because she's coming to visit Miss Louise. At the same time, the nurse is like, whoa, Ben, why are you in here? I was looking for you. You're supposed to be outside of this door. And he's like, oh, sorry. He's so high. And I'm like, how do y'all not notice? Okay, whatever. So then he leaves out and Eddie says, oh, I'll stay in here with Marcy while she visits. And the nurse is like, okay. So whatever. So then Eddie tells Marcy, basically like, aren't you glad to hear about like what's happened to Randall? And she's like, what happened? I mean, the fact that somebody killed him. She was like, he's dead. It's like, I don't know, but it's safe to assume that at this point, we're looking for a dead body. We're not looking for him alive running around here. And she's like, excuse me? And he's like, really? I didn't know you were one of those type of women. Well, he really called her a B. And she was like, she slapped him. He's like, oh, I like that. She slapped him again. And he said he liked it again, like he's messed up in the head. So next thing you know, she says, I am not one of those type of women. Okay. You are not going to call me out of my name. And I have a heart. You are a messed up individual. He was like, you didn't know that by now? I mean, I'm just getting started. Like, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, but you've never seen the side of me. So the next thing you know, she's like, look, you're a sick, twisted person, and the rest of us are not. No, I wouldn't want anything to happen to him. He's like, okay, but he humiliated you. Like, he's cheating on you with the freaking neighbor. And you should be happy that he's missing. Man, if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, oh, I'm glad he's dead. She's like, no, I'm not that type of person. So whatever the case, she tells him that he needs to get out. So he talks stuff as usual, but then he leaves. And the next thing you know, she talks to Miss Louise. Miss Louise finally like opens up her eyes. She's like, oh my gosh, I've been awake this whole time. I've been hearing all this stuff. Let me tell you right now, it was the man next door. It was Alex's father. He is the one that did this to me. I think he's going to kill Randall. You have to help. Do not trust any of the police here. Don't call it in. Don't do anything. You need to call the FBI. She said, can I do that? She said, yes, this is a kidnapping. Okay. So you need to call the FBI and I have a number in my purse. My purse is at the house. You need to go to the house, look on the back of the chair, get the card, bring it back to the hospital. We're going to call the man because the FBI needs to get on this. And you need to hurry up or else they are going to kill Randall. And she is like, what? She said, yes. And that Eddie guy, he is a horrible person. He slapped me around a good 3 times. I just been pretending to be knocked out because they gonna kill me too. And so she's like, okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, I will rush and I will go get your stuff for you. And we're gonna get this taken care of. She said, whatever you do, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody but God. Okay, so then Marcy leaves out. Marcy's leaving out. At some point, Lushion is walking the halls. He notices, let me see what happened. Oh, okay. The FBI detail finally comes back from the bathroom. Like, he was gone for a very long freaking time. It doesn't take that long, but whatever. So he leaves. He comes and he sees, so what is his name? Ben starts talking to the FBI detail and saying, I want to be like you one day. We're so lucky to have you here, all this and that. Oh, I can't go in there and visit him. He's my friend from police academy, all this stuff, whatever. He's distracting him so that Eddie can walk out of the room and not be noticed. So he was successful in doing that. And then at one point, Eddie is walking out of the hospital and Lushion sees him and he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, just here, just whatever. And then he's like, He's like, and so of course they always have like insults for each other back and forth. And the next thing you know, he sees Marcy. Marcy is leaving. And as Marcy is leaving, he's like, Marcy, what is going on? And she's like, I will tell you, but can I trust you? He's like, you can trust me. Like, I'm one of the good guys. And then she said, really? And then she's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna say nothing. She was hesitant, but then she just got this feeling that he's a good guy. She's like, you can't tell Eddie. He was like, I definitely won't do that. Tell me what's up. So she's like, okay, well, I talked to Miss Louise and she's pretending to be asleep and she told me everything that happened. It was actually Alex's parents. She told me to call the FBI. He was like, I'll take care of that for you. She's like, no, I have to. And, he can't blow his cover. So he's like, okay, go ahead and call. But he, of course, is the FBI. So, he's going to take care of it too. Okay, so whatever the case, he's like, okay, you get out of here. Go get the card that she told you to get, whatever. And so next thing you know, Lushion walks over to Miss Louise's room. He sees Ben high, falling asleep in the chair in front of Miss Louise's door. So he's really not like watching her or anything. So the next thing you know, he like slaps Ben around. He's like, what is wrong with you? You are a junkie. Like, how long have you been this way? Who has been in and out of this room? Ben is like, I don't know. And he's like, who has been in and out of this room? You better start remembering. He's like, nobody. He was like, you're lying to me. Stop lying. He like roughs him up. Ben gets punked by everybody. And he's just finally like, okay, yes, Eddie was here. I'm so sorry. He's like, yeah, watch the room. Don't let nobody in or out. Okay, I'm going to here talk to her. So he tries to talk to Miss Louise. She's still laying there with her eyes closed because she doesn't know if she can trust him. He has on a police uniform. And he's basically saying, look, I talked to Marcy. I know what's up. I really want to help. There's only so much time left. We're looking for your son. And right now, they're at the station and they're questioning Brad. They're only pinpointing him. I need you to cooperate with me so I can lead them in the right direction. But of course, she doesn't trust the police force, so she feels like they're just going to cover everything up. So, no, I'm not going to tell you anything. At some point, she opens her eyes to show that, okay, I trust you, but I'm not quite sure. So she still didn't say anything. He gave her his card. He said, you know what? You call me if anything goes down or you feel like talking. Okay, so all that's good. Next thing you know, we see Alex running through the woods. She's lost. She's trying to get to her parents' house. Then a police car pulls up. I was like so scared it was going to be Eddie, but it was actually Andrew, which is almost worse because Andrew is so by the freaking books. Although he knows that things are not legit around that police station, but he doesn't know how to play the game. So he's like, ma'am, you're going to have to get in the car. I'll take you back to the station for questioning. She's like, no, bruh, my baby is missing. My baby is at my parents' house. He said, well, how do you know that? She's like, because I saw them take him. Take me there. He's like, okay, ma'am, get in the car. She said, I'm not getting in your car because you're going to try to take me back to the station. Take me to my parents' house. He's like, okay, ma'am, but just let me call it in. She's like, you can't call it in. I don't have time for that. He was like, it'll just be really quick. You don't understand. If you had a baby missing, you wouldn't be talking about calling in or whatever. You'd be running trying to find your baby. Okay, so whatever. So next thing you know, she finally agrees to get into the car, and then we don't know what's happening from there. We'll find that out next week. We also see that Marcy is calling Kelly, letting Kelly know what's going on and what happened with Miss Louise, and that it's Alex's parents that did it, and that she needs to call the FBI. As she's saying all this, she's telling her she feels dizzy and she's kind of like feeling faint. Next thing you know, she passes out. We all know she's pregnant, but she passes out. Kelly can hear her breathing in the phone, but she's not responding. So she is like freaking out at this point. Anywho, we will see where that's continued next week. We do see Randall in this episode. He has been taken out of the box that he's in, and he's being dragged through the woods. So we shall see what happens with this. Wasn't much going on with Natalie. She just wants Lushion to continue to work to help people, and she's awaiting an answer. Oh, Lushion snapped on the FBI guy and was like, you don't need to be going to go take a leak, and you're supposed to be watching this guy. I'm reporting this to Lamont, which I guess is their supervisor. He also calls Lamont and says, hey, I need another FBI detail on Miss Louise. It's just a lot of mess going on up here. Okay. Anywho, I think that is everything. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.